All right, what's going on, Legion fans? Welcome to another episode of the Bad Pod, where we talk all about Bad Batch on Disney Plus.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, this was a great episode, man.
Best episode so far.
Yo.
And the Bad Batch was barely in it.
Barely in it.
Barely in
Yo.
it. That's the disappointing part.
Oh my goodness.
However, amazing episode.
Yeah, right? It was The Lost Bounty, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. We get more Cad Bane.
Oh, yes, which is just
so
phenomenal.
great.
Yeah.
You can't have enough of him.
No, you can't.
And Fennec returns.
That's right.
That's
right.
We were kind of right.
We were
like partially. I mean,
well, there were
technically we were 100% right, but there were more facets to it.
Technically, we're never wrong.
Technically, if the show doesn't do what we say, the
show is wrong.
The show
That's
is
exactly
incorrect.
right. I agree with that 100%.
But we were right.
We were right on a number of fronts.
There was just more facets to it. So
it was
hear
a much
more about
deeper
the
story than we expected, and I'm thankful for it. I'm
too.
thankful to be quote-unquote wrong about the things we were wrong about.
Right, and I'm thankful that it wasn't the Empire who brought either of the bounty hunters in.
Yeah, I mean, it adds another dimension to this story.
Oh, yeah.
So we learn a lot of things in this episode immediately.
Yes, right off the bat.
Right off the bat, we find out very, very quickly that Cad Bane is hired by the Kaminoans to be able to capture Omega
alive,
which
is not his.
Very
he isn't
important.
like that.
Very important right off the bat.
Right,
that they need her alive.
Yes.
Okay, so that's number one. We find that out very quickly.
Yeah.
Then we quickly find out that the Kaminoans want Omega. Only for her DNA.
Right.
They do not want
the Prime
her
Minister's like just terminate her.
Ruthless.
What?
Ruthless.
I thought he wanted her like alive.
So the Kaminoans, because of the species that they are, you immediately think they're just like super peaceful people because of the way they talk, they interact
they're
with
super
each other.
slow and methodical.
Exactly.
And
you think they're pretty peaceful. Nope. He's just like, get the raw genetic material and then eliminate her.
Get rid of her.
Yep.
Don't need her anymore.
We don't need her.
But we do notice that her main caretaker doesn't like that.
Exactly.
Like she feels iffy, and he even says,
except you can't, like, we know that.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you don't like really see any like.
Well, she doesn't push back.
Reaction. She has no pushback. Right. She kind of just. It's almost like a Jedi being corrected, like your feelings are clouding your judgment here.
Yeah,
and the reality is she like just like no reaction.
Nope. Well, but we find out at the end of the episode why, because she didn't want to jeopardize what she was doing. But the Prime Minister says, you're too emotionally attached. I'm going to send this other person.
Like, what do emotions look like for Kaminoans?
Hey, man, cloners are weird.
Yeah, real weird.
And it gets weirder. So so Fennec shows up. Other thing.
Yes.
Cad Bane. Cad Bane is the rendezvous point. Is another Kaminoan cloning facility.
An abandoned Kaminoan facility.
Right. And it's not on Kamino, and it's not it's not even what we always assumed is like their natural habitat of rainy and water. It's like
it's clouds.
Clouds. It's almost
like
dust.
a cloud city.
Yeah.
It
so
looks
very different.
Very similar to a cloud city, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is. I saw similar, especially when she was climbing down the ladder, and it's very exposed.
Has a lot of similarities to that. So, but that's number one. Number two.
Yeah.
This is not a minor facility. There are multiple outcroppings.
Yeah.
There are multiple spaces
when she gets below the clouds, you see different buildings, like all very similar, like you were saying, Cloud City stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I mean, they have huge tanks of abandoned clones.
Right. And so we didn't get, I don't know about you, but I didn't really get a good look at the clones that were in there. So it begs
except for the one
question,
that fell on Fennec.
Except for the one that fell on Fennec.
Yeah.
But it begs the question, what were they growing?
Right.
And
who were they
why
using?
did they abandon it?
Yeah, well, because
clearly they don't really have reservations about killing stuff.
No. Yeah, they
even refer to Omega as
goal.
Their property.
Right, the property.
Yeah,
yes. Oh man. So Fennec shows up, and we assume hired by somebody else.
Yeah, I mean,
or just wants the bounty for herself.
Right. Well, what's interesting,
she kills the Kaminoan doctor.
And what's more interesting here
Yeah.
is she is willing to trade up the bounty
for Omega. Yeah.
Which you immediately assume she has another larger bounty on the line.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Like, your thought process is, okay, maybe the Empire has hired her. The Empire is going to offer a higher price for Omega.
Yes.
They'll be no matter what the Kaminoans have, the Empire will be able to top it. There's no doubt. So that's what you immediately assume.
Yeah.
But
that's what I thought.
The twist when they are in the cloning vat area is that she really gets down on Omega's level. And is like, you can only count on yourself. You need to take care of yourself, which we know is a very Fennec
thing
to do before she meets Boba in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's a very Fennec response. But, like, she's not trying to really recapture her in the same way that Bane did.
Oh, yeah.
Which then draws a lot of questions in your mind until you see the ending.
Yeah, well, and she's fresh. She's a fresh bounty hunter. She's already made a name for herself. Like, Cad Bane knows her.
Yes.
Most likely for her sharpshooting.
But his response to her when he meets her is like, you don't have the experience.
Yeah, you're out of your depth.
You're out of your league here with me.
Oh, man.
And the reality that I loved about that was she really wasn't.
No,
she
really
held
her
wasn't.
own.
She
man.
held her own. And so this is a turning point where we know Cad Bane from the Clone Wars
he's the top of the chain.
Top dog.
Yep.
Top dog when it comes to bounty hunters and what he's able to accomplish. But it's that point where, eventually you start to slip.
Yeah, and he gets old. He's getting older.
Up with you. Your skills are not as sharp as they were before.
Right.
So this is that time where Fennec is really on the uprise and Cad Bane's on the downfall.
Yeah, well, what I like about it though is that she didn't come in and she wasn't just dominant. Like,
no,
it was
she
a
wasn't
struggle.
Just, it was a good fight.
She had to really work.
That was a great bounty hunter, straight up bounty hunter, non-Jedi involved fight.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know you and I differ on this, but I would have been fine. I would have been 100% fine. She ends him in this episode.
Right.
I honestly thought.
I want him to come back.
I know. But I honestly thought when she kicked him off the edge, I was like,
oh, yeah.
I had an audible gasp.
Yeah.
That I was like, she just killed him. She just killed him.
He's got his booster boots.
Of course. And I mean, I don't know why I didn't think about that at the moment, but your immediate reaction, I was like,
he's done.
He's done.
Yeah. I love he's also got a Mandalorian. We mostly see Mandalorians use the flamethrower wrists.
Yes.
We see Boba use it. We see Din Djarin use it in Mandalorian. But he had double. Boba usually has one.
He pulls the tech, man.
Starts wrecking her with fire.
He will use whatever it takes. He's got a lot of stuff in his back pocket ready to go. And
as a good bounty hunter should.
As a good bounty hunter should. You incorporate those tactical items that you believe are going to be able to be beneficial for you in the future.
Yeah.
And so, it's great to see this battle because Fennec just, it's not, like you said, a straight up, like, she owns him. It's over.
Right.
But it's a real struggle, and there's a lot of give and take in this battle.
Yeah, it's a good new blood taking on the old blood.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So at one point she gets away from him, or she kind of knocks Bane
him
out,
unconscious.
and goes down, almost gets Omega, and that's where you see the test tube. Failed clones, and Omega releases one of the tanks that falls on Fennec.
We've got to get more on test tubes with stuff in them.
I know, we see the Mandalorian too.
We've seen it. No, but we've seen it in 3 places now.
Yeah.
We've seen it here in the Bad Batch. We've seen it in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And we saw it in
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Well, we know. At least we knew those were Snokes. Like they were pretty clear about that.
I know that, but what I'm saying is there's a lot being played out. In being growth. And what I mean by being is like human being or other being. There's a lot of cloning going on. Cloning is taking center stage here in a lot of this. And we need a better understanding of what they're actually shooting for in a lot of these either failed experiments or abandoned projects. We need to see more about this.
Well, so my theory is the one that fell on Fennec.
Yeah.
looked like a modified version of a Kaminoan.
I know. I thought that too. It was definitely taller, longer arms, longer legs.
Yeah, the head looked a little different.
I mean,
but
it was kind of like a
big
Slender
old
Man.
eyes.
I mean,
Yeah.
those Kaminoans, like
they're
without,
creepy.
like they are those
without
are
like
Slender Men.
without the clothes,
Yeah.
like if they didn't have the collar silhouette
Right. If
on
they
them.
didn't have like their outfits on and they
Yeah.
didn't open their eyes, that's a Slender Man straight up.
Well, so what I'm thinking is, I wonder if the Kaminoans are all clones themselves, and they transfer their consciousness into new hosts.
Do you understand that would be if that is the case?
Yeah.
If that is the actual case, that is pulled directly from Dune. I know that I am.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know that
Yeah.
I am. I am like I go point to Dune. I know I'm obsessed with it. But what I'm saying here is the Thiliaxu in Dune,
they transfer to younger bodies.
They transfer their
right?
consciousness in cloned beings. And that's how they move their masters through the generations.
Right. And so if we're looking at, so we had talked at the beginning of this series.
Right.
We had talked about the possibility that Omega might be the key to what Palpatine wants to do.
Yeah, we had one of two ideas.
Right.
It was either that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the wrong one first. It
Sure.
was either that she was modified in a way that she had all of the skill sets.
Right,
of
which
all
is
of them,
not
which
the
is
case.
not the case.
Yeah.
However, we had the other idea that she was a pure clone.
Which was the case.
Which is the case.
Yeah.
That she was just like Boba, except the female version, and that is exactly what she is.
And I love how they make known that Boba was called Alpha.
Right.
And she was called Omega. And then Django obviously named Alpha his own son's name because he wanted to keep as a child.
Exactly.
But he was named Alpha, she was named Omega.
Yeah.
Because they knew they were giving Alpha up and they'd end with Omega.
Exactly, yeah.
But regardless, here's the deal. If that's the case, if they're Kaminoans that they're trying to clone like genetically superior Kaminoans to transfer their consciousness in, then that would play right along with that as well, because then that's the other piece. So Palpatine's looking for a way not only to clone a better version of himself, but also to transfer himself.
Have the ability to transfer.
So
his
maybe
consciousness,
it's a combination of those two things that will eventually give him the knowledge.
So in looking at the Sith, we know that the ability to transfer your consciousness, that is a major power. That is a high-level Sith power.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the theory is that when Palpatine was thrown down the generator by
he
Vader,
cast
himself into a prepared body that was somewhere else, that was on Exegol. However, like, if the Kaminoans can do that, that also means they have some sort of connection to the Force.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe, yeah, or maybe they found a scientific way to do it.
Maybe, but I'm more looking for a connection here. Like,
is the Prime Minister a Sith?
Well, maybe I'm not saying. Well, I always would love a Sith. Yeah, I would love. But my point being, like, there's got to be a Force sensitivity here.
Yeah, maybe
for casting their consciousness into another body.
Well,
if that's the case.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all assuming that that's what it is. We have no idea.
Exactly.
But that body what I'm saying is that the body that fell out of the tube looked similar to a Kaminoan body, maybe a little bulkier. Yeah, which I was thinking.
But it also was wrapped up in bandages, and stuff like that, or a membrane or something like that.
Yeah, so it was in process, and we saw other ones that were kind of like bloated and disfigured and things like. They were obviously early stage cloning.
Yep,
that wasn't going the way they wanted it to go, and so they ended up having to abandon it.
But then why? Why did they abandon that site?
I don't know.
They completely abandoned that site, and that is a major facility. It wasn't an empty warehouse, which is what what the Prime Minister made it seem like.
Yeah, and even the tech was still kind of working. Like she got most of it powered up.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if they were discovered. Like if they're doing something illegal in the galaxy, like the Republic or something,
and then they just abandoned it.
They abandoned it, left, and they hit on Kamino.
Well, and the interesting would be they would have plausible deniability because they would be able to say, no, we only exist on water planets. Like,
sure, yeah, we would be able to exist in that
atmosphere. We can't exist anywhere else.
Yeah, maybe.
Which may be just a lie.
Sure, but yeah, who knows? Well, anyway, so Omega buys enough time to get the Bad Batch to her to find her signal and to rescue her. And then we get the reveal at the end with Fennec.
Yes.
Which is like I honestly till the end I thought it was either the Empire or somebody else who was hiring her, but it wasn't the Empire.
I felt like after the conversation in the laboratory, I'm like,
yeah.
I bet it is her guardian. I bet it was.
Oh, and it was.
And I think this is wonderful. And the thing about it is, so this gives us that opportunity for a team up. This gives us
with Fennec and the Bad Batch.
Yeah, because the Prime Minister is going to throw every bounty hunter, and Omega says that.
Yeah,
every
they're
bounty
keep
hunter
coming.
in the galaxy.
You can't fight them all.
Right, and so what's going to end up happening is Fennec, who's charged with protecting Omega from getting into the hands of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
She is going to team up with Bad Batch to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, I love her comment at the end when Fennec is like, "Oh, they got away."
Yeah, I can track them.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, as long as they're not with the Prime Minister's people, like I trust them."
Which makes a lot more sense as to why she sent Omega with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, man. Oh, and again, it just opens up a lot of questions.
Right.
But it gave a nice little finality to the episode. Like I didn't feel lacking. I know we talked about the Loki episode kind of made us feel lacking at the end. No lack here, but still just as many questions and like, what's going on?
But I do need to see, Hunter is assuring Omega that she won't fall into Kaminoan hands.
And then she won't return to Kamino. But if the Battle of Kamino happens, they're gonna have to go back.
So you're setting up for one of two things here. I need to see. This is what I need to see.
Okay.
I need to see a Bad Batch episode where the Bad Batch actually owns the episode. Like, I mean, like
what you've been talking about, where they
are
precision team
everyone.
going through.
Exactly. And my issue here is like, Hunter, you're not actually showing me you're that like great of being able to like protect her. You're really not showing me that good.
I think that's the point, though.
I know,
but he can't control the situation.
Right, but I need to see them like really step in it. Maybe it's when Fennec teams up with them because
they have
they're not a
piece.
Complete team.
Yeah, and if it becomes the Battle of Kamino, then I think we'll see some hardcore Bad Batch execution. Like they're going to go through because that's what they're most comfortable.
But the other thing is we could eventually see a rift form between Omega and Hunter because he has to go back to Kamino.
Yeah, right.
If the Battle of Kamino is going to happen, he has to make that choice. He has to convince her to do that. And like she's not going to want to.
Right. Yeah. So will he choose her or the brothers?
Right. We're setting up for setting up for a real issue here, a real rift that could potentially form.
Yeah, man, it's gonna get so good.
This was a fantastic episode.
So great.
To set up for so much more for the rest of this season. Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every Monday.
And Wednesdays.
No, just Mondays.
And Wednesdays?
I don't think we can do Wednesdays.
We can do Wednesdays.
All right, Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, same Legion.